Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Jacqueline Maddison. Today we have a very special guest, Jana Short. She's a renowned mindset coach, best-selling author, and the visionary behind Best Holistic Life magazine. With a mission to inspire and transform lives through storytelling, health, and wellness, she has made a significant impact in the industry. So today we sit down with Jana to uncover her journey, wisdom, and secrets to building a life of purpose and success. Let's welcome Jana to the show. Jana, welcome to the show. It's such an honor to have you here today. How are you?
I'm well, Jacqueline. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm so excited to dive in and to learn about your story and your journey. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get started in your industry?
I started out as an interior designer in LA, and that's what I did. I was very successful at it for many years. And then I had an illness that knocked me off my feet. I
Oh,
actually
wow.
had, I was told I had a few months to survive and was sent home from the hospital to be on hospice. And that was
Wow.
13 years ago. And I started my journey by typing in these words into my keyboard, desperate for health answers and looking for holistic options. My husband is a veterinarian. My ex-husband's an internist. My two daughters are in med school, and no one could help me. So I typed those words into my keyboard, and magic happened. I was able to reach across the globe and get tons of answers of things that I could use, maybe that was holistic, that I had no idea even existed. And that was
Right.
13 years ago. It kind of moved me into the holistic kind of lifestyle about managing our stress, paying attention to our sleep, moving our bodies even when they hurt, just move a little slower, but keep moving.
Right.
And then it also taught me, Jacqueline, what was really important in my life, anyways. And it wasn't the fact that I drove a Bentley in my job. I had my Birkin bag, I had my Louboutins on.
Right.
When I was given that death notice, I realized nothing was coming with me.
Yeah, I
And I
know
was
it's
right.
so unimportant
So,
when the like microscope of life is on the things that truly matters. Health is our wealth. I mean,
it
that's just
is.
bottom line.
Health and our mental stability, right? Like nourishing our mental health is so important as well. Like I fill myself with joy every day. And I tell people like I'm turning 65 this year, and people are like, wait, what? I have a 47-year-old daughter. And I'm like, honestly, part of it is I wake up in joy every day. Like I feel so good that I have another day.
You know what? Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And it's
Oh,
so true. It's so true that we have to be grateful because I mean, it's exactly God has given us another day to enjoy and to utilize our gifts and talents and to share ourselves with the world and to see what's in store. I mean, you have to be grateful for that. That's a beautiful gift.
it is. And I do not take it for I don't take advantage of it enough, but I
Right.
realize every morning when I get up, this is my gift today, right? I'm up, I'm moving, and I'm able to create more memories in my life.
Yeah, exactly. I think the memories are what we take with us forever. So you've been recognized as a global influencer in health and wellness. What motivated you to create Best Holistic Life magazine?
You know what? It started when I went back to school in my 50s because I wanted to understand more about this holistic world.
Yeah.
Why did my mindset change something? I still live in the same diagnosis, but I thrive in it. How is that possible?
Yeah.
And so I went back to school, and Best Holistic Life came because my I was doing a lot of celebrity coaching, and when I had to back off of coaching because I realized I was trading time for money, and
Hmm.
it put me back into that realm of possessions and not into the joy that I was living for, like my grandkids and having that time. So
Yeah.
when I backed off, they asked me to do a newsletter, and because of my interior design background, I had these 30 articles from them, from my clients. They wrote
Oh, wow.
articles about what they envisioned, their journeys. I went on Canva, I put it into a magazine form, very picturesque, and
Yeah.
we sent it out and we got 35,000 people sign up for the very first time it went out. We have nearly 2 million subscribers now, which really excites me, and we release every month.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Congratulations. It
Yeah.
just shows you there's a hunger for holistic living. And I think return for me, I think going back to the Garden of Eden, like I myself am vegan. Once in a while I have some salmon, but I think fruits and vegetables, all nature is our medicine, and as natural as we can be, the better off we'll be. So now, what challenges did you personally face when you were establishing yourself in the wellness industry, and how did you overcome them?
So I'm a global influencer. To do that, you have to have some kind of electronic background. I was not raised with electronics, like computer. I didn't have a cell phone until I was in my 30, and now my like
Wow.
8-year-old granddaughter has her cell phone,
I know.
right? Nobody even
Hmm.
has house phones anymore. They all have cell phones.
It's a whole new
I
world.
Right? I had no
Hmm.
idea how to make anything work. How do I build a website? How do I connect CRM? What is analytics? I had to learn everything. Like you and I got on this and the mic wasn't working. I like it's like Achilles.
Me too. I'm just not that tech savvy, believe it or not.
So that was it's and today because once I finally learn something, something better comes out and I have
Right.
to now upgrade and learn something new. So now I'm immersed in the world of AI. And
Mm.
for those of you who are like fighting it, it's like TV. It's not going away. When radio went to TV, our grandparents thought it was going to be the destruction of us. It was like the devil in our homes. They're kind of right, but we didn't
Yeah,
die. We're
right.
still here. So for me, AI is like I'm immersing myself, learning as much as possible because I know that's the next step forward.
Right.
But how do you use it wisely is what I'm really looking. How do I use this very responsibly
Yeah.
for putting my information out there? So I am now immersed in AI stuff.
Yeah, I know. I think the whole world is, and I just think we need to keep it as a tool and not a crutch. So for me, that's with a
100%.
fine line. So now, as a best-selling author too, what was your first book about? And what message did you hope to share and hope to continue to share through that book?
So my first book was Oh My Health There's Hope, and it was about me sharing my story of hope. And Jacqueline, I've never written a book, and when I started writing it, I was pouring my heart out. I was
Wow.
crying. I thought, oh my gosh, I created magic. I had like one good chapter. That was it. And so I
Oh, I'm
did what
sure
I
that's not true, but
it totally was true. How do you make that story into a whole book? It's really hard.
oh, I
And
see.
right. So I thought, you know what? In my journey, I've heard so many stories like mine, so many stories of people winning, their fight
Yeah.
and not giving up and like just changing. It changes their life. It's kind of like an awakening for them.
Yeah.
And so I invited some other people to write with me, and that was my first book. Now I'm now working on a book called The Secrets Women Keep, and it's all about the truths we hold back, right? And where they
Yeah.
come from. And so and the one that I just released was called The Yet Factor, and it's again mindset. I would
Yeah.
say I'm not today. I'm not dead yet. So
Right.
I'm still alive. I'm going to live. And so I've taught my grandkids the Yet Factor, and they're the ones that named the book because if they said I can't pass this math test, you haven't passed it yet, but you're working hard towards that. And
Yeah.
so it was always switching it to the word yet. You haven't done it yet, but you will. You're not old enough, right?
Hmm.
And you're practicing to get there. So when I was writing the book, they're like, "Oh, that's your yet factor. It's what you do to us all the time." And that
Yeah.
book just went out last
I love
October.
that. That makes sense. It's like we all have the hopes of our making our dreams come true and accomplishing these goals. And even though it hasn't happened yet,
Yeah,
doesn't mean it won't.
exactly.
Yeah, I love it. So now you've also worked with countless entrepreneurs, health experts. What qualities do you think define a success, or how do you define success for yourself?
So for me, it's about the connections I make, right? It's about the real human connections, which is really
Mm.
hard when there's so many people, right? Um, I feel like when people are on social media or on like LinkedIn, I get up every morning to LinkedIn with about 200 DMs that are only out of all of the DMs I get, about 200 of them are just someone with a sales pitch. They've never gotten to know what kind of business I run,
Right.
commented on anything I put in. They're just sell pitching everyone, hoping somebody grabs. And
Yeah.
I'm telling people who are really trying to sell their services or their product online, you have to make a human connection. I
Yeah.
wouldn't give you money. I don't know you. I don't trust you.
Right.
And so I think that it's important for you to like be real, show who you are, and make this human connection, which is super hard to do online.
Yeah.
But when I had gotten sick, I just didn't care anymore what people thought. So I was really
Right.
showing up as my authentic self and
Yeah.
all the mess, right? And
Yeah.
people related to that because they have all the mess in their lives too. They're not living perfect worlds.
Hmm.
And so I would tell people like the one thing that I struggled with at the beginning was sharing my personal stuff. Like, oh, I get
Right.
it. I get that, you're in this situation. I've been in a similar situation. I hear you, sister. And we talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So I think moving forward in any kind of world in the gosh, I don't even know what you call it, the networking online stuff, if
Yeah.
you can't humanly and emotionally connect with the person you're trying to invite into your space, it won't happen. It just won't.
Right. Yeah. It's so true. Now, your work also revolves around mindset coaching, which is huge. But how does mindset impact a person's ability to achieve success or reach their goals, make their dreams come true?
Oh my gosh, Jacqueline, I'm so glad you said this because it's a secret sauce, right? Secret
Yes,
sauce. Quit
of
buying
course.
stuff to, right? Quit buying stuff to do better. Like you can
Yeah.
read. Reading is important, like getting all the knowledge in your head. So if you're absorbing that way, great. But
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, everything you need, everything is between those two beautiful ears of yours. You
Yeah.
can create anything. Look at me. I'm still here living in the same diagnosis 13 years later.
Wow.
You can create anything through mindset and thought process.
Yes.
So I know people like, oh, I have a vision board, and none of that's ever happened. As a matter of fact, it's collected a lot of dust. I was thinking about taking it down.
Yeah.
A vision board is a start. It's good because subliminally you're picking up that vision as you pass it, and your brain is open, it's coming, it's happening. When is it
Hmm.
happening?
Hmm.
But if you don't take steps
Yeah.
in that happening, it's just a beautiful board that your brain is taking in as a wish that someday we'll get there.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that you can manifest anything. I manifest good health in my life. I manifest, great relationships. I think that I believe I took my energy vibration from the lowest where I thought I was going to die to this incredible space of joy. And so I've elevated my energy and it stays there, right? I might have a little hiccup here and there, but it's rare. And by the
Yeah.
way, when I do, the minute I have a hiccup and I feel that energy dropping, something's going on, I'm stressed or I'm upset about something, I feel myself getting sick. It's weird, but I do. I'm letting my body
Wow.
break.
That's so true. Yeah, I mean, I think we all have an ocean of emotion, right? So we all navigate the seas of life and we have our ups and downs. But to stay in that place of joy and it's true, I think we all have dreams, but dreams don't become a reality unless there's action, And the same with myself starting the magazine, it's been a tremendous amount of work. So absolutely, we've got to take the action. And so, how does someone keep themselves in a place of joy or gratitude or in that positive mindset? Are there actions they should take or daily habits? What do you recommend and what do you do for yourself?
You should really constantly be working on yourself. In my book, I was just writing a chapter about the secrets I kept during my divorce, and one of them was that I wanted him to change everything for me. I wanted him to do better, do this, do that. But he was the same man I married, but I had grown, he hadn't, and I wanted him
Mm,
to change everything. And I feel like you should change nothing to get a better job, to keep a man, to keep friends. The only person you should be changing for is yourself.
yeah.
And so for me, that's where everything is going for me daily. I do better for myself. I wake up with a beautiful intent. I do meditation, right? When I feel like I'm ungrounded, I go out in the sun, I dig my feet in the ground. I have this egg-shaped chair that rocks and I love it and I just nestle in there.
Mm,
And I have this moment of center. And then all of a sudden, all the ideas, the thoughts, the energy changes.
yeah.
And I come in. So I take those moments for myself. And the other thing is self-care. It is so important. I've literally had people say I was selfish or narcissistic because I guarded my sleep patterns. I was very guarding around my sleep patterns,
Yeah.
my eating patterns. Like I just guard them because I know it's what's good for me.
Yeah.
And they said it was narcissistic and selfish. And I'm going to tell you right now, taking care of yourself is the best thing you can do for anyone. It's
Right.
really not for you, it's for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend that you have a routine of self-care. And that doesn't mean the spa, like, like I can't afford to go to the spa and
Right.
do this.
Yeah.
That isn't self-care.
Hmm.
Self-care is taking those quiet moments, reading a book maybe that you want to read, taking a
Yes.
walk with your dog.
Yes. Yes. It's so true. Well, I think we're body, soul, and spirit, and when we speak of self-care, that's taking care of our spirit, our
Right.
inner being, our mental health, our emotional self. We cannot neglect that. That's like the driver in the seat of our car, which is our body, our vessel. So I mean, obviously holistic health is so important, but how can people start integrating it into their daily lives? Is it diet? Is it exercise? Is it prayer, meditation, God, religion? What is it?
It's yes to all of those. It's not one thing.
Mm,
It's
mm,
never one magic pill, right? No
mm.
magic thing. But I will tell you, it's baby steps. I didn't change everything overnight. Like I tell people, my house is completely toxin free. Well, as best as I can get it, but it wasn't overnight. It was baby steps. Every time I ran out of something, I swapped out for something better for us, right? And so it's baby steps. So take that first step of one thing you can do for yourself, one thing you can do mentally, physically, and start making those changes slow. So for me, it's been a 13-year journey since that aha moment of I wasn't
Right.
taking care of myself and I wasn't going to be on this planet anymore. So it's
Mm.
baby steps. And the great thing is, Jacqueline, you're never going to be finished. Like
Yeah.
I call it whack-a-mole. The minute you take care of one thing and you move beyond that and fixed it or you feel better, another thing will pop up, which is
Right.
great. Like we're getting rid of the things that are, pulling us down. And by the time you get my age, you're going to be super excited because you've done a lot of work and you've let go of a lot of baggage that wasn't yours.
Yeah, I think that life is a journey of personal growth and personal transformation, but we have to do the work. I mean, if you're not willing to make the changes and even be self-aware enough of things that need to change, then nothing will change. And people will find themselves in disease or in depression or in states that they don't, lower vibrational states of being. But so myself, I'm a Christian, right? So I find a lot of solace in my relationship with Jesus and reading the Bible and things like that. And so that, as per the Bible, God is light. So when I'm spending time in prayer, whatever, I'm drawing closer to the light,
Right.
and that's how I stay in that space of all things are possible, this mindset of love and gratitude. Because otherwise, like you said, things try to pull you down, you
Right.
know.
Jacqueline, I'm so glad you kind of said that because for me, I think of myself more as a spiritual person than a religious person. I'm
Yeah.
not big on organizational religions. Having said that, whenever I do find myself in church, the energy that I come out with gives me goosebumps. Like it
Yes.
does raise your vibration. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend that if that is your thing, get there often. Like start, that's your community. That's where you go to heal and to find solace.
Well, I'm not religious. I say I'm faithful. Religion is of
Okay.
man, faith is of God. And a lot of people
100%.
just go to church to check off the I'm a good person box, but then they live like the devil the rest of the week, right? So really church is in our heart. Church is in your private relationship, dwelling in the light, in the love of God and sharing that with others, you know?
100% I agree with that.
Yeah. So, what are some well, a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with burnout, because everybody's go, 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 striving. What advice do you have for balancing success, ambition, goal achievement with the self care, with the spiritual growth? With also taking care of family? I mean,
Right.
whew, the full plate.
Right. Um, Burnout's a real thing. Here's my biggest suggestion to you. When you find something you love and you're passionate about, even the hard things seem easy. Like I said, my husband's a veterinarian. He's wanted to do that since he was 6 years old. It's not work for him. It's a joy to go every day. Yes, he owns his own practice, so there's like a lot of bickering sometimes and, organizational things that he kind of gets a little fed up with, but he loves what he does. I love what I do now. I am like obsessed with getting people's mindset change, understanding
Yes.
that they are enough exactly how they are, that other people have gone this and they're not alone. We see them in where they're at right now and they can go forward. So for me, I would tell you, loving yourself is the number one thing, understanding that the only person you can change is yourself. You can't change the world around you. That's not your responsibility. That's their journey. You can love and support them through it, but the only person you can work on and create change is you. So when you start feeling burnt out, take that time. Is this what I'm passionate about? I changed my career in my 50s. I did something completely different. By the way, magazines, as you know, they don't do well right now. Like people are just doing those quick little blips on, Instagram or TikTok, and they're not doing that. But yours blew up, mine blew up. There's a reason behind that. There's passion and love behind it. There's a intention behind it. So
Yeah.
if you really want to feel a lot of joy in your job all the time, no matter how bad it gets, for me, it's not that bad because I'm doing something I love. It'd be like getting rid of your kids when you're having a hard time, or one of your kids is diagnosed with autism. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting rid of them. You don't, because you
Right.
love them, right?
Yes,
It doesn't
yes.
seem that hard anymore. So when you find something you love and you're passionate about, life does change.
It's so true because it's that love that keeps you committed and devoted to it. And for me, again, my relationship with Jesus, I'm always praying for wisdom and for, wisdom. And then I get these epiphanies of strategies or ways to do things I would never have thought of, but it's a God answering my prayer. And then all of a sudden a new door opens to growth in the business. So for me, that's been important, asking for wisdom. Because actually, for me, again, the Bible says, ask and you will receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open. So I'm asking for everything. I'm asking for health, for strength, for peace, for joy, all of it, wisdom, instruction. So now in your magazine, Best Holistic Life magazine, which I love, has become a leading platform for wellness professionals. How did you build the brand? How did you successfully build it? Like, and you can bullet point strategy, marketing, networking, etc. To simplify it.
There was something that was put into me at a young age. And it was when you're in the workforce and you're building a business or building any kind of, income, that there's two things that happen. If you work with women, they compete with you. And if you work with men, they put you in your place. You're the coffee girl or you're the cleanup girl. Women do that better. Let them take care of it. And so when I came into my business, I kind of let all of that go. And I realized that on social media, I think I had like 200 followers at the time, that there are other bubbles. We can actually lift each other. And as we're lifting each other, we
Yeah.
grow. So whenever
Mm.
we put out a magazine, we gave them all access to everything and they would share that link.
Yeah.
And so I don't know nearly 2 million people. I don't know how those subscribers came because they came because of the other women lifting me or other men in the business. And so honestly, when you finally break the glass ceiling or cross the threshold of something new, I
Yeah.
tell women all the time because it's mostly women. Men are doing it a lot and they have an easier pathway. It's not that we can't do it, we just have a tougher pathway.
Mm.
When we get there, like take that damn door off the hinges,
Yeah.
open it, hold it open, and start holding your hand out and pulling other women through. I've helped other women set up their magazines. I promoted them in our magazine.
Yeah.
When I started really opening the door to lifting other people and not competing with them, life changed for me.
So
So those followers came from other people. Those subscribers to our magazine came from them sharing their joy about being in the magazine.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's an excellent strategy. Because it's all about growing together. And I think when we have that mentality, it makes a big difference. So instead of operating from a place of selfishness or selfish gain, and also even starting with 200 followers, I think that there's something to be said about humble beginnings, and I think if you stay humble, even through your success and your growth, the blessing will continue to come and grow. So, what advice would you give to aspiring authors, speakers, influencers who want to also make an impact in their industry and change the world for the better?
I have a really good piece of advice for you. And I ask every one of my clients, we have a publishing house. I ask every one of our authors that come on board, what's the purpose of what you're creating? If you're writing a book, what's the purpose of the book? Who's it for and how is it serving them? And
Yes.
when we figure out who's it for and how's it serving them, it's better when it goes out because they get it. They know you're talking to them. So if you're starting a business or writing a book, sit down first. I know you want to get your story out there. You have words to tell, but immediately think, who is this for? What's the purpose of it? And who is it serving? And when you figure that all out, everything will flow. They get the message. You cannot write a book and expect the whole world's going to love it. They're not. When you're invited, I'm sure you've been invited to many places to speak. I know I'm invited to talk to one group of people. That's why there's 5 other speakers coming. And so when you come, just talk to your person. Who's it for? What's the purpose? And how's it going to serve them? When you answer those questions before you start anything, you will be so successful.
I love that philosophy. And again, obviously I'm a Christian, so I love Jesus. I always talk about Jesus. But he taught us that the greatest of all will become the servant of all,
Yep.
will be the servant of all. So I think, yes, we have to have a paradigm shift of not what's in it for me, what can I get, but
Right.
rather what can I give? How am I going to serve the world, my community, through my business, through my product? That's the shift that will change the world and bring the growth. Wow, that's awesome. That's powerful.
I
I
just
love it.
got goosebumps,
Oh,
Jacqueline.
did I? I love it. Now we're on the path of purpose, you know?
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest misconceptions people might have about being an influencer in the wellness industry?
Oh, I didn't tell you. A lot of people think that the only way they're influencers is if they have thousands of followers, and that is not true. I
Right.
will tell you, every single one of you listening to this podcast are an influencer. You've influenced your children, you've influenced friends, you've influenced coworkers. Always be aware of how you're doing that, right? Be aware of who you are. Put your best foot forward because you are an influencer. You don't need thousands of followers to make change in the world, right? Sometimes
Yes.
it's that quiet little boom that changes the world, right?
Yes. Something as simple as a smiling at a stranger can change their day. You don't know. We're all fighting our own battles, you know? And so I love that. So it's true. Your sphere of influence can be even one person, and that one person is impacting the rest of their life, you know? So what's next for you? More books, exciting projects?
So I have a new book coming out in October called The Secrets Women Keep. It's going to be probably the best thing I've ever put out. I'm very proud of it.
It
But we're
sounds
also
good. The
we're
secrets
also
of Mickey.
releasing a new magazine because we're global. And the biggest question we get is where do I find that in my area?
Yeah.
So we're starting with LA and we're opening Ageless Living LA. And it's all about the great things you can find in all of LA, where they're at, who they are, who are the people that are doing great breathwork classes or yoga classes, or where's the best spa to go to, or some of the healthiest restaurants to go to. So we will be releasing Ageless LA this summer. So I'm very excited about that.
So, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who's struggling with self-doubt right now in the pursuit of their goals or in overcoming a diagnosis, an alarming diagnosis, what would it be?
Don't give up on yourself. That would
Mm.
totally be it. Just don't give up. Keep fighting. You're worth the fight. And honestly, I know people don't want to hear this, but it's even true with me. This was a physical thing that happened during a surgery that almost killed me. So it wasn't an illness that I got.
Okay.
And I know when people get illnesses, if you think about it, you can track it back to things breaking in your life, right? Things going crazy, the stress, your body starts to break down. So I say live a better life. Like find the spiritual outlet, find the meditation, find the space for you. It really will help you keep moving forward if you're in a bad situation. And I did not know that. I knew nothing about breathwork, Jacqueline, nothing about meditation. I don't sit still well. I'm fast. I'm talking fast, with high energy.
Mm.
And so when you're sitting still, it's very hard for me. But I learned how to do it. And it was like magical to let my brain go quiet for a minute.
Right. I know there's so much peace and stillness.
Really, you're not hearing any messages when you're in turmoil and swirling.
Yeah.
I do think that when one of the things I would kind of tell you not to do is be careful when you go online and you get a diagnosis.
Mm.
Be very careful about joining groups. Be very careful if there's not a moderator in there because you can damage yourself. So with our magazine, because we are talking about health and wellness and holistic options, we have 3 rules: no curative claims, no type of diagnosing, and no setting up a treatment plan. There's no such thing as any of those that would work for everybody. And we first do no harm. So we refer them like, go see your doctor if you have questions. Here are some of the questions you can ask. And we want to support having holistic medicine with Western medicine because that's where it works best.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, how can what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work? For your personal butterfly effect, like your work and how you want it to change the world. That's kind of two questions. Sorry.
My legacy, I have two granddaughters. I have five grandsons, but I have two granddaughters that I know are growing up in a world of change for women. And it feels like some things are going backwards, you know. My wish for a legacy is that women are powerful and they can do anything. I had a granddaughter ask me, how come we don't have a woman president ever? And I had to explain to her that every man that sits on that chair for president had a mom raising him. There is her influence in him. So we have the power to make that change, right? Even if we're not sitting in the chair, we have a power to influence the people who are as women.
That's so powerful.
Yes,
so true.
I want to leave a legacy of change for my granddaughters, even if it's just asking or showing up to vote for themselves. I want to leave a legacy of change for women. I want us to stop complaining about what we don't have and start going after it, making it happen. And sometimes it's hard. The first person going through that door has to struggle. And again, when you get there, hold that door open and start letting others through, like help them through, show them how you did it.
Yeah.
But I think I want to see a world where women are serving in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. I hosted an event, a pink and white party, but I called it an empowered woman's event, and we had speakers and stuff. But it's so true. I think if we empower, especially the younger generations, to believe in their dreams, to work to make them come true, but then also give them the understanding that they have to take care of themselves, their spiritual selves, etc., they can become so empowered as women. You know, and for me, I'm kind of a traditionalist. I believe, you know, men have their leadership roles and women do have their roles. I'm of that mind, but that doesn't in any way diminish the power women have in their domains, whether it's in business, in the household, in their relationships to their children or to their spouses. You know, we are powerful and we've been gifted with that power to change the world as mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives. Yeah.
You know, Jacqueline, I do feel the same way. I do think there's certain roles that women, not that they couldn't do them, but they just shouldn't do them.
Right.
I know that I have a daughter who's 6 foot, and in high school, she wanted to play football, and I refused to sign the waiver. I didn't think that it was right to put her on a field that boys had to take hits at, and she had to take it. I felt that it would mess them up as much as her. Yeah. And so to this day, she's still angry with me. It was many years ago. But I refuse to sign it because I don't feel like there's a place. That's a place for women to be competing on a football field with men. So I feel the same way. It's not that she couldn't do it. I have every doubt that she'd be fabulous at it. It's just that I don't think she should do it.
Right, exactly. So now, can you share a success story from someone whose life that has been transformed by your coaching or magazine, or something that you've experienced or witnessed as a transformation in someone?
I can. One of the things I'm really good at is helping people remove blocks that's holding them back.
That's good.
And one of my clients I've been working with for 4 or 5 years now, which I think you should meet, she is now creating, I don't know if you guys remember The Secret. She is now doing the sequel to that. It's, I think, their 20th year anniversary. I don't remember, some big anniversary. And she's doing the sequel to that. And it is called The 5 Pillars. And has almost all the same people that were in The Secret are going to be in it, plus more characters that are coming in to share their secrets and wisdom. But before that, she literally was working as, she was a genius, writing books, doing all things, but not being seen because she was working behind the scenes for men, setting up big stuff. And I'm like, you are great at this. I think you've learned enough. Why don't we figure out how you can step out and be doing this yourself? And here she is. Like, I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely. No more living in the shadows of others. We've got to each step into the fullness of our giftings and talents and share it with the world. After all, I think that's why God created each of us unique as snowflakes with gifts and talents that we have to share, whether it's through writing books or making movies or starting magazines, whatever it is, you know. So now, how can our audience connect with you? And do you travel? If somebody wanted to hire you remote, what's your process, and how can they get in touch?
I do travel, and people can get me on Jana at janashort.com or bestholisticlifemagazine.com. Any of those. I personally answer DMs. My personal cell number is on all of those things, and I tell people I don't answer my phone because it's always off because I'm doing these.
Yeah.
But I do answer texts very quickly, so they can text me directly, and it's just easy to get a hold of me. And our magazine is going back to free subscription as of March 1st, so everybody will have access to the digital version for free.
Excellent. That's perfect that you're going to make that wealth of wisdom available. Now, so tell me about motherhood and how you mindset and all of these things we've discussed today plays a part in motherhood, because this is so important for women listeners and women who are yet to be mothers like myself. I don't have children yet, but how does it all play a part and impact motherhood and that your role as a mother and a wife?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked this question. I'm going to probably get emotional about it, but I have 4 children, 3 daughters and a son, and the oldest is 47 and the youngest just turned 37 yesterday.
You look
So they're
amazing,
grown.
by the way.
They're grown with families of their own. Having said that, they shifted. My 2 daughters that were in medical school saw the process I was going through and tried to help me, and they got interested in natural medicine. The oldest one and the youngest one are now doctors of natural medicine practicing. One's practicing with women with hormonal issues. The other is a sleep expert. And they are doing amazing. And that shift came from them just following me on my journey. But being a mother, I'm going to tell you, I messed up a lot. We all do. We're not perfect. We're going to mess up. They're going to take away little things that are embedded in their heart and baggage they're carrying that we gave them. Yeah. And I think the best thing that I have learned through my journey is to look at my children now instead of trying to fix it for them, like you want to fix it, like you love them. Yeah. Instead, now I say, I'm so sorry you're going through that. How can I support you? I make them ask me for what they need. Yeah. I don't just try to figure it out on my own. Yeah. And again, I feel like one's getting her pilot's license. The 47-year-old decides, I want to fly. She's getting her pilot's license. So being a mom and a wife for me while doing all this, by the way, that comes first. None of this matters. I can walk away from the magazine, the people, so long as I'm looking at my health and my family. Those are my most important relationships, and I make sure that I am focused on them. For those of you who have kids, we do mess up. But when we get grandkids, we're at the age where like, oh my gosh, this does go fast. Oh, and wow. We get what I call a do-over. Yeah. So I have 7 grandkids, and we are doing it over. I am so involved in their lives.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so beautiful. And I think it really puts in perspective what matters. And I think if we all operate from a place of really prioritizing what truly matters first and foremost, and show up and be fully present in those roles as a wife, as a mother, and for you gentlemen listening, for as a husband or a business owner, leader, the family, your spiritual self, your health, your mental health, your emotional health, all of those things are first. And from the health of those realms in our life, all the other growth can come and be successful. I see life kind of like a pie, right? It's all, and everything, it has to be balanced. And if anything is neglected, any of the realms of life are neglected, then everything else will be a little bit out of balance. So we really have to balance our lives, find harmony, but it comes from taking care of body, soul, and spirit, every aspect of our being. Because like you said, it all starts with you, So
yeah, I was going to say, I've done a lot of apologizing to my kids as I realized in my healing phase, well, I could have done that better.
I love how you said that, because it's definitely healing. And I think that we have to heal. All of us have childhood woundings or relationship or just life experience woundings. So we must constantly be nurturing ourselves, also not neglecting our inner child, because I think that's a lot where our joy stems from, is maintaining that innocence and curiosity of life and joy of life, And then for me, obviously, love of God and love of others, What about you?
100% love makes the world go around. I have removed any kind of negative feelings. Like those are low vibrations. So I try not to feel jealousy anymore, or anger, or even fear. I have no fear, because I'm in this world and what happens is going to happen. I don't have control over it. So you let go of that fear and you replace it with this is joyful, right?
Yeah.
So I try to live in the higher vibrations. That doesn't mean like something terrible could happen. I'm going to dip, right? But
Right.
I know that's not where I'm going to live. I'm going to like go through the emotions like you should. You should feel all the feels, work through it. But I'm going to come back to where it's home for me. That's
Yeah.
the space of joy and service and love.
Yeah.
So I feel like just living in that space is really what's keeping me alive.
Yeah, it's so true. But you said something about being still was hard for you. Like, and this reminds me, like in God's word, he says, just be still and know that I am God. And it's like those things that we can't control, God controls. And so I think when we can let go and let God and just operate from that place of total trust that, God is good, God is love, God is light. So when we trust God to handle the things we can't control from a place of love, we can stay in that place of receiving God's love. And that's what it's all about. Receiving God's love and sharing it with the rest of the world. Being love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe, and love is the only thing that can change this world for the better.
Jacqueline, I'm so glad you said that because people ask for a lot of things, right? My sisters will ask me to pray with them for a good parking space. I won't
Yeah,
do it.
believe me.
I won't do it. Like there are more better things to pray for. Find your own damn parking space. Having said that, when I feel that sometimes we're expecting a certain answer, I didn't want to be sick. I didn't want to have the fear of dying.
Right.
Where was God? He was there because he saw where I was going.
Yeah. Well,
He
he
opened
saw
a
who
new
you would
door.
be. He also saw
Right,
who you would become. So
right. He
sometimes,
sees ahead of us. Right. And sometimes we're getting exactly the opposite. I don't know if any of you remember being in high school and falling in your first love. And when you broke up, you
yeah.
thought you were going to
Oh,
literally die.
God. Don't
How can I
remind
go
me.
forward? Right. And now
Yes.
you're in your life as an adult and you look back and like, oh, thank goodness. Right.
Yes. But it's so
So
true. But yeah, go on.
he doesn't see, like, he may not answer you the way you want. I promise you there is a plan. And if you
Mm.
follow that plan, there's doors opening, a path you're supposed to be crossing, a purpose you're supposed to make.
Yes.
So it's not always
Amen.
in our time, right?
Yes. Yeah, and I think God is more concerned with our character, and that's why he allows us to endure certain
Yeah,
things because it changes us and we grow in ways that we would never have put ourselves through those things, the things we can't control, remember, because those are things God controls. So
right.
that's why when we can love God even in the hardship, in the pain, in the suffering, and again, I mean, Jesus taught us love is sacrifice, love is suffering because he suffered for us, sacrificed for us. But in our suffering, our hardship, our uncertainty, our confusion, our desperation, really, we must always cling to the goodness of God and the love of God, and that through this we are growing and we are transforming and we are becoming more of who God created and intended us for to be. And I think that really is the ultimate success.
I 100% agree with you.
So wonderful. Any final words? Anything you'd like to share and make known?
So my final words for you seriously is you matter. You
Yeah.
are enough and you matter. Take care of yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you take care of yourself, I promise you, it'll change your relationships. It'll change your work experience. It'll move you into abundance when you start realizing you are beautiful, you are special, you are unique, and you have something special to offer the world. And so everybody does. I don't care who you are. You have something special and unique to offer the world, or you wouldn't be here.
I love you so much. You just like that just empowers me so much, and I hope for those of you listening it empowers you too, because Jana couldn't have said it better. It's so true. We all matter and we all have a purpose, and every single thing we do in this world does make a difference. So make sure what we're doing is from a place of love, and and the world will become a better place because of it, and it's really just that simple.
I agree.
Amen. Well, God bless you. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to have you on today. I'm really glad we had a chance to connect. I'm wishing you endless success, continued abundance, happiness, health, and healing in your life. God bless you. And I look forward to meeting you soon. Where are you based?
Studio City.
Oh, so you are in LA. Great. So yeah, we'll meet one day, I'm sure.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's do it. Okay, wonderful. And again, final note, where can guests connect with you? What's your website?
They can go to janashort.com or bestholisticlifemagazine.com and they'll find us.
Wonderful. Okay, well, have a wonderful day, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon and possibly having you on the show again in the future to catch up.
Thank you, Jacqueline. I
Thanks,
was
Jana. Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.